And I'm always curious to know, like, if anybody's done past life regression, what you found out. Celeste, start with you. Maybe have you done that? Hey, BA.
I do that for people, and I have done it for myself. And it's always kind of interesting. Sometimes I'll just be talking to someone, doing a reading or something, and they morph and turn into someone else. And that's kind of a cool thing. But I've done it through like guided meditations, and my table's wobbly today for some reason. But yeah, it's really interesting, especially when I believe it was somebody that you know, Colleen, that had come to see me and was just waiting and waiting for me to say this particular lifetime. And when it finally came through, it was like, it was pretty cool. But I'm not going to share everything online with that. But,
right.
Yeah, it was.
I should do that then. I've never done a past life regression.
Yeah.
Although I know I've had one, but yeah.
It's funny. Sometimes you just get like feelings and thoughts and images. Other times it's more like a full-on story that goes with it. And I don't know if that means that life was more significant, or parts of that life are playing roles behind the scenes in this life. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
That's cool. Susie?
Well, I've not had one done on me personally, but I am like Celeste. I see them on other people. I'll see the stories, and I will see them morph as well. And sometimes, I mean, it's not just a like a past life regression. Sometimes there's been instances where they've been like almost another being, like kind of interdimensional. So yeah. I'll tell you one very interesting story. So my daughter and my son and I, we were living in this place in Oregon where it was out in the country in the middle of nowhere, and it was gated. And so we'd always have to open the gate to drive out, to go into town. And my daughter and I were in the vehicle. My son jumped out, grabbed the gate, and started opening it. And when he did this huge, beautiful, gracious bow, and he morphed. He morphed. Oh. And Katie and I, sorry, she probably shouldn't say her, but oh well. We both like turned to each other and we're like, did you see that? And I was like, what'd you see? And she described the exact same thing that I saw. Is he morphed, he looked like an elf. His ears were more pointed. He had like the green, it's like green clothing, a little tighter fitting, brown, pants. Just, it was really interesting. And we both saw that on him and we were like, whoa, that's really trippy. So those are some of the things I've kind of seen on a lot of other people. Sometimes it's just their scenarios that play out, that their past life is still affecting them. They're either a step they're holding on to from a past life that they still need to fix, or they're repeating a little bit of a pattern. But it happens the same way for me and as it does Celeste. But there's also been other instances where, another strange example, I've always been really good with weapons. Just pick them up, and like a gun, I'm a dead eye. Well, with my last ex, he thought it would be fun to just have his mom ship out a bow for us. So I received the bow, and he had his, and we went out and started setting up a target. And he says, "Well, let me show you this," and blah, 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 and he started firing off and missing everything. And I was like, like this? And I just like notched it up, and boom, dead on, wow. Like 15 feet. And he was like, "You've never done this before?" I said, "No, never." So cool. I think there's a bit to it. But anyway, those are stories.
I've never had a regression done, but no one ever taught me how to ride. That's just
natural.
I got on a road,
and that's something that takes a lot of skill and muscle memory.
Yeah, I had to perfect the dressage part of it. I had to work with coaches on that. But you know what I'm saying? And trust me, it's not perfected, but still, I don't remember ever being taught how to read or ride. So
That is cool.
there is, okay, we had a question from BH on would people realize if they themselves are morph if they're morphing, I guess, during your readings, Celeste and Susie?
The people that I have do not appear to have any acknowledgement or there's my friend. Acknowledgement or recognition as it's happening. But what does happen is I'll hear, I dream about that kind of a thing all the time. Or I've always been drawn to Ireland or Egypt.
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, it's funny. It does usually pull on some sort of string. But as far as them going, oh yeah, I felt myself turning into an elf or turning into a gladiator or just turning into like, a farm person in the countryside. Not every past life is glamorous.
No,
often,
I'm sure mine wasn't.
Yeah, often though, we will incarnate in similar, not necessarily will always be a priest, but maybe somebody who is in that field, a healer, a priest, someone who knows the natural ways of maintaining seeds for crops or animal husbandry. They'll have had similar incarnations. Not everybody. Some are, I don't know, they're like totally night and day. But the particular person I kind of mentioned earlier, it was funny because I've never ran across anybody like that. So it kind of almost took my breath a little bit with it. And it was funny because then I had memories of knowing this person. And I think I actually had made a comment that day about it. And it was like, oh, this kitty. Mentioned things about it, and it was like, oh, very interesting that we're back in this life at the same time again. So it's funny how that happens because we do incarnate often with similar people.
Mine's on my lap, shedding every hair imaginable.
Well, I have one scratching her whole face on the side of the computer, so it's spinning around here.
So Susie, we did have a question come in from Aditi. I'm not sure if that's how you say your name, but yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating, Celeste, that happens. That you think that, and Susie and McKenna, do you guys think that, I've heard that the same family units kind of come back, but you just kind of change places constantly. It's a shuffle. But do you think friends do too?
I think so.
Yeah.
And you're in different roles. So maybe your mother child one time and husband wife one time and employer employee, or just different roles.
And I saw a thing where it says like you may not even necessarily be friends or family members or be someone that you're close to in a positive way. Like if someone has harmed you or had a significant impact on your life in a past life or your spirit, then they tend to match you up again. You get matched up again so that you can heal. So I've also heard that, seen that.
Yeah, particular person was part of how I didn't have that life anymore at some point, which was, I think, the part that kind of took my breath when I finally recognized.
You're going to have to call me after the show.
I'm going to have to tell you at some point. I won't tell you who it is, but yeah. Well, if I don't tell you, no, I'll wait and tell you personally. Yeah. I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
It was definitely first time kind of thing, but yeah, I'm sure that they contributed to my leaving that life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Susie, what do you have for?
So I've been reading through the comments for this person, and at least pass in each subject. Yes, I can see that. So the universe says yes, it's coming towards you. You've been isolating and working really, really hard on it. So at least passing in every subject, but it's also warning you to be careful. Don't burn out, because that can sabotage you as well. And there was something that my college professors told me, because I was doing the whole, I'm going to get straight A's all the way through. And they said, look, C's get degrees. You know, they said you need to relax or you're going to burn out. You won't make it all the way through. And if they see solid A's on all of your transcripts when you go to get hired, unless you're going to be like a doctor or something, which requires it, things like that, they're less likely to hire you because you seem like you're too type A. You might have a breakdown or a meltdown. So there's a warning here to relax a little bit and just let it be and know that you've got this. Don't be like, oh, am I, oh my gosh, stress, right, because that'll make it worse. So and know that you have this. You've got it.
I also want to say something, because you nodded to this, Susie. I've worked in the governmental field all my life now, right? Either in the military or in different forms of government, in state or federal. And they only want to see your transcripts to prove that you have the degree. None of them cared about the GPA. Not one of them. None of them. They only want to know, did you have this many in the science field? Because I'm in the science field. That's all they cared about. And like Susie said, not every doctor passed with an A. So unless you're going on to, like, you're trying to get into MIT, then they care about grades, right? But other than that.
Well, and I see that you said you're scared about 2 subjects. Well, I had to take particular math 3 times. So it's the persistence that counts, and you just don't give up. So don't stress too much. Remember to have fun. This is stuff you're going to carry through with you the rest of your life and beyond, because that's what you take with you, is the love and the education when you're done with this life. So just enjoy it while you're there and don't stress too much.
I also, the first time I took organic chem, I failed it. It was one of the first classes I ever failed in my life, and it ate me alive. And my professor knew that I was very good at science. And he goes, you were just off that semester. He goes, take a year off from doing the chem, come back. And then I ended up sailing through it, and I became his tutor for the next 2 years.
Yeah, because you relaxed about it.
Yeah, because I relaxed about it. He's like, you got this. Don't worry about it. You know the stuff. I had such test anxiety. Then I learned to drink a beer before every exam, and I nailed it after that. So I'm just saying. Okay.
I would always forget to eat during finals, like dawn.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Celeste.
Let's see.
I've heard this as well. We swapping roles when we incarnate makes life feel like a performance. So how do we take it so seriously?
I think this is my theory or philosophy on life. I believe that each incarnation is like a form of education, from kindergarten through PhD to becoming a professor and teaching others. And so we're here to learn. And I believe, I have to have people remind me of this lifetime has been rough. But I believe that we choose some of the situations or the general interactions that we have with certain people. I don't believe we have it sketched out, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I don't believe that at all. I believe we come here to work on empathy. We come here to work on healing and teaching others how to be more well or be a healer also. And then when we reincarnate, maybe we come back as the test subject of somebody who needed to perfect, per se, their healing abilities or their ability to teach, whether that's like a literal teaching position, like a teacher, a professor, or to teach like as in someone maybe it can be a clergy person that helps you through difficult situations. It can be maybe learning how to be a good parent. And that could be through a marriage of some sort, or a step parent situation kind of a thing. So I feel like, yeah, it kind of is a performance. Unfortunately or fortunately, most of us don't remember that part. We just live the life, and we get it or we don't, or we are able to help some people. But the fun little curveball in there is this is a world of free will, and we can come here with the pre-planned, I am teaching this person how to be a loyal and faithful spouse, and the other person's like, nope, I don't want to be loyal or faithful, and too bad for you. So, it's kind of funny how things like that happen. And some people say we relive like karma, like if we did something in a past life that maybe was not a great choice or not a kind thing, then we face similar trials on the other side in the next life or a few lives down. So
Absolutely. And the beauty is, like, if we just sit back and have an easy life, we're not going to learn a lot. So the harder the lessons, the more we grow.
And kind of going off of that, and also like the original question. So there's Brian Weiss. He's like a psychiatrist, and he published this book in the 80s. Good night, Crystal. And it's called Many Lives, Many Masters. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the book at all. I found it. I started researching past life and past life regression when Marshall was born, because I would wake up with like horrible panic attacks, because I kept seeing like just like blackness, like imagining death and blackness. And so for my own mental well-being, I decided to research like fact-based, evidence-based afterlife. And this is what I found. I initially found Brian Weiss's book, and it's about like his first ever experience having a patient with multiple past lives, or a patient with past lives. She had like horrible anxiety and panic attacks, and she was miserable. She didn't sleep. She couldn't work. All she did was stay home and just be afraid of everything, essentially. And he tried so many like traditional medical treatments, or therapies for her, and nothing worked. And so he's like, well, we'll try hypnosis. And the first time they tried hypnosis, she remembered a past life. And she had so many past lives, and they went through each one, and it addressed each part of her trauma and her anxiety. But the farther down it went, she started seeing the next plane of existence. So the in between, like after each life passes away, you end up in like this middle plane, and there are these beings, and they're referenced as the masters. So, title of the book, Many Lives, Many Masters. And they were like these ethereal beings that would, in sort of a way, like guide you, but they could only guide you from that plane of existence. There were a certain like set lessons you had to learn in your lives, and you kept going back and kept going back and kept going back until you learned the lessons you needed to learn to the next plane of existence. And so that could be a potential point on why some people, like you hear about children experiencing past lives, or there's people that have multiple, and then there's some that maybe have one, or they don't remember any of them.
Right.
Really, we could be on one, or we could be on 50 or 100.
Yeah.
One of the things that you commented is been something I have found to be very true. Often we carry through that trauma, especially of how we died. And I worked with a healer named David Cunningham. He was from the UK. He's the one who taught me chakra balancing, clearing, alignment, all of that. And he went to touch my throat because that's where your throat chakra was. And I did what I had done my whole life, which was this.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Block, deflect from the throat. And he said, "Oh, you have a sensitive neck." And I said, "I have always had a sensitive neck." And he goes, "Well, it's probably a pretty common thing for someone who's been beheaded or hung by their neck on a tree." And I was like, "Huh?" And he goes, "You do know you have been killed in multiple lives in ways like that." And suddenly, yeah, I did know that. And I've never had an issue since. But it just realizing that because I'd been hung or I'd been strangled or I'd had my head chopped off or whatever. One of them I have not outgrown is fire. I was doing a what do you even call it? Where it's a Native American, a sweat lodge. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing a sweat lodge. First time I'd ever tried it. It was a very small area. It was men and women. There was a ton of people. I was in the very back. I've always had claustrophobia. And it was the first time she'd used lava rocks. She'd always used other types of rocks in the ceremony, but she used lava rocks, which heat up a lot hotter. And when she threw the, I don't know, sage, pine, cedar, whatever element on to the rocks, it burst into flames to the ceiling and sparks and smoke. And I nearly levitated out through the roof of it. And I had to sit out the rest of the time. It took me back to a point where fire was my end. And I always wanted to try it again, but I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I'm hoping I'm less anxious about that. But my daughter was scared to death of water her whole life growing up. And around age 2-ish, 2.5 maybe, she never spoke well until she was about 5 or 6. We realized she had ear issues. And so she couldn't hear well to be able to speak well. But that day she looked out her bedroom window and she said, "Mama." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Do you remember when my name was Megan and I drowned in the pool in the backyard?" No. What?
No, I don't.
And turned around and just went back to playing. But it was like she morphed into, and it was funny. She had a very strong Boston accent when she was a child. And we've always kind of played it off that she just didn't hear well. So butter was butter and ka and Jennifer. Everything was kind of like a boss. But now I kind of wonder if that might have been where she had lived.
Yeah. That's
so
wild.
it's really interesting how things happen.
Susie,
well,
sorry. Do you have the cards for Hale?
Mm-hmm.
And Jibo, yes, please ask your question, and we'll handle it next.
So I see that there is definitely a wish on your part for sure to rekindle. It looks like the universe is saying that, of course, it's still up to free will, but both of you still need more time to heal. You need more time alone and to heal the wounds that you've caused each other. So, yeah, that's kind of what it's saying. It's also saying don't watch him, don't stalk him on social media, don't call him. Just let him have the space, because the more absence that you give, the more interest he'll have. So you need to pull your energy back. You need to work on yourself, your own glow up, like, go out and find your happy, spend time with friends, go find a new interest. You really need to focus on that. And that will actually, if it's meant to come back together, and if he feels that pull, he'll come back. So I can't give you a solid yes or no, because the universe says you both need some more time to heal.
And I was going to throw in 2 cents on that, where you said Libra season. Libra is the scale. And most people think this is balance. This is not balance. This is balance. If you think about a 365-day year, there are 2 days in the year that are this, and that's spring and fall equinox, equal daylight, equal darkness. All of the other days of the year are like this.
Right.
And so it may seem, I don't know if you're Libra, and it may seem that a scale would be good representation of that, but I think Susie is spot on with you need to be okay with yourself and your life, no matter what happens. And a lot of times when we find that comfortable, happy, productive place, suddenly we glow and we draw energy and people to us. So just keep in mind, I'm not saying you're not going to get together. I'm not saying you are going to get together. What I'm saying is you need to find your place where it isn't going to be life altering if you don't, or if you do. You just need to be healthy and happy.
And your comment on no wounds actually and no stalking, I still see that, but he might be like looking at you online. It could be reversed. Roles can always be reversed in the energy. It could be also that he has wounds that he needs to heal still. They may not be with you, but there's still wounds there. So I still get time alone. So
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
His own wounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Just give him some time. Because it does take a while to heal from, a loss. So quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's about all you can focus on when that happens.
Celeste, can you take this one?
I am actually an ordained minister, and I've done a lot of weddings. And one of the things that I always say is you can make or break a relationship by your hands only. And so what that means is when people say, how do you have a lifetime relationship? I'm not a good person to ask. I haven't had a lifetime relationship, but I can tell you why. Both people have to be putting in 100+% all the time. Yes, there's going to be times that one has a bad day or they're not feeling well and the other one has to pick up the slack, but it's not 50-50. If you want a long-term lasting relationship, both people have to try their best. Both people have to be willing to compromise. Both people have to be open and honest and communicate. Now, that doesn't mean that you say every single little thought that's crossed your mind, because some people have fleeting thoughts that may not be favorable to the other person. But if it's just a thought, that's not necessarily something that you need to share or should share, because it can stir up trouble. Because if you're thinking it, it must be happening. And that isn't true with everyone. So I would say,
is this for Debo, Celeste?
Yeah, this was for the one saying, are we going to have a lifetime or a long relationship? As long as that is both of your goals, usually come hell or high water, you find a way to do it.
Yeah. And and that's tough. But it happens it does happen, but it's tough. Okay, Susie, you had a question from BA for a general reading. I hope, Debo, that's your goal and not sure if it's hers. And that's the conundrum we get into when we're in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Are they really as committed as I am?
Yeah. When one person quits, there's not a whole lot you can do.
No.
other than know that they just weren't the right person for you.
Exactly. Just walk away.
Sometimes they just need that moment to get their head on straight and they come right back. Other times they're not the right person for you, and that's your clue that you need to find the person that's your person.
Also,
and I hope that you two
yes.
are each other's people.
But also know that you got to communicate your goals and desires and stuff in life, because nobody's mind reading here, you know? So
It's exhausting to do that.
yeah, well, you guys can do it, but you know what I'm saying? Nobody, you got to be able to communicate your goals, your desires, your wishes, your wants, needs, and all that kind of stuff. And people don't do a good job of that. And so then we get pissed off because somehow our partner doesn't all of a sudden know what we need. Well, communicate it, you know? And if they're being a butt, tell them, like, you're kind of being a butt today, and I'm going to go for a hike, or you need to go for a hike or something. Okay. Susie, what you got for BA?
So it's really interesting because normally I just get like BA's energy or the person they're with, but I ended up getting the person that they started the relationship right here, who's saying that they're ready to start building a foundation with them, like moving in or having them move in. I am seeing that, like, definitely. But then I get two other energies that are involved in this situation that are worried about it. One says give it more time. They're being a little defensive about the situation, about their relationship. And the other one is worried that, like, BA will get taken advantage of as far as like money goes. So those are just kind of the two, like the two other energies around the situation that are coming through, besides the love interest that is like ready to move forward. So that's kind of interesting.
Cool. All right, Celeste, what about R? Is he having spicy thoughts?
Actually, I was kind of focusing on Mad Max for half of a second first.
Sorry.
That's okay. What I was going to tell you is, like I said, I have overcome the whole super traumatic, like, flinch and withdraw with the neck. But the claustrophobia fire stuff still kind of plagues me. Adverse, what is the word I want? When you actually expose yourself to things in a safe environment. For example, you go to the top floor of a tall building while looking through the window out, rather than the places where you go out on a balcony, or, you know, you're outdoors and the wind's blowing, because that can be super, super traumatic. If you have had a past life, maybe where you fell or were pushed off a cliff, those kind of things, I'm speking from my own personal truth. Those kind of things are really hard to get over. But also
exposure therapy does help. It really does.
Also,
but
you need to feel safe, or you have like your partner there with you that you can hold hands with, or you go out on the balcony, but you stay back with your back touching the building instead of up by the railing. But some exposure things can help quickly, others not so much. And like I said, I could have went through the roof of the sweat lodge. And she knew that. She was like, everybody move. We need to let her get out. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything. And it wasn't tall enough to stand up in. And that was my first reaction, was to stand up. So you just need to allow yourself to be put into situations that are safe, that involve height. I wouldn't go out and climb a 6-foot ladder and stand on your roof. You know what I'm saying? You want to do something that is more safe. Sit in the window seat of an airplane. That's a really good one for height.
Okay. Susie, do you have Seraphine? Okay.
I do. And that's a resounding yes.
Ooh.
Ended up getting one of my cards that's a bit of the phallic symbol again.
Nice.
But And then I pulled from 2 decks, and on the bottom of both of the decks, I got the Emperor. So this person definitely wants to be in charge of, I dare I say this, definitely wants to be in charge of your body. So the dominant person, if you know where
That's
I'm
what you
going.
like, then, you know.
There's also
I love these spicy readings.
Oh, I know. They get pretty gnarly, let me tell you. But there's also an element in there, a little bit of a warning that your heart could end up more vested than theirs.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Yeah, be careful with that, girl.
So
All right.
take the ride to Disneyland, enjoy the roller coaster, but then you still have to go home.
Yeah, the extra plan.
Ride a helmet if you catch my drift. I mean, wear a helmet. Wear a helmet.
We know what you think. That's funny. Okay.
You wanted it spicy, so there you go.
Strapped in. Yeah.
That one, it's 2 other people. It is 2
Okay.
other people associated that you've been talking to or know about your love situation.
Yeah. Yeah, Mad Max said his partner is awesome. Yes.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is. And yeah, nice, huh, Sarah?
Yeah, I have to tell you before we go on, I actually named my child after Seraphim.
Oh.
So I don't know if you know if that is your actual name or a name you chose, why that name was given to you. If you do, I'd love to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty.
Yeah, some good readings tonight, ladies. These have been pretty interesting.
Yeah. When I blush when Susie's giving the reading, because I'm getting some images in my head.
Yeah,
we all had images in our head on that one. That was pretty
okay, Mr. Dorian Gray, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Well, now we have the whole picture now.
I know.
I was trying to be a little vague, but you know I'm not vague, so.
We all read.
Phallic symbol card.
I know you guys are killing me.
I mean, they sell spicy books at Walmart now, right across from the kids' coloring books. So, I mean,
that's true. It's true.
Everyone is
everywhere.
Almost everyone is reading a spicy novel, or has read one.
Well, maybe I could spice up the kids' coloring book with a phallic symbol.
I think
there
you
go. Till they do it at school.
I know. I know. We went to a really fancy art school to check it out for my daughter, and that's pretty much what was hidden in all the displays, all the pictures, all the whole building.
Y'all know that my dad did Pink Panther for decades, right? He was, but in his personal artwork, like when he did anything with a lot of rocks, they contained boobs. All the rocks had boobs. Huh?
Well, on purpose, or was it a?
Oh yeah, no, they. But you'd have to really kind of stand back and look, and then because he did these like coloring books, and I'm flipping through them, and then I went, "Dad," and he goes, "Oh, was that one obvious?" Because it's
kind of like the Grand Tetons.
Yeah.
Bob, that is so spicy.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Seraphina. I love it. Love it. Yeah, so
I'm absolutely, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna walk out to my hallway and look at the picture that I have.
I wonder
the cabin, because there's rocks on the front of it.
Yeah, look and see if he's got them in there, because I'm pretty sure in every single rock scene that he did, there were boobs.
Like
I will send you a picture if I find them.
Your dad's is 2 big hooters.
Well, it's funny because I told some of the guys that at work, and I had like 15 of his mines. He did mines, old mines. He was commissioned to do all of these old mine drawings from in the state of California. So he did all of these, right? He went up and he took photographs of the old, like the ghost towns, the mines. And then he came back and he sketched them all, and they put them down in the state capitol. And I have the prints of these, right? And so I had them up in my office forever. And I told the guys at work about what my dad was doing. And every once in a while, they'd come by with their cup of coffee and just be looking at the artwork. And some of them, they were like, "Oh, yeah, right there."
Guys are like, guys are a different species sometimes.
They are.
Like, okay, so the first thought I had was Seraphina's initial comment, like about our having, thoughts. I was like, if he's a guy, then yes. They're all on this plane right here in the gutter.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so we don't have any other questions that have come yet, but so McKenna, have you done past life regression, or you just researched it?
So I've tried. So I've never had like a psychiatrist. Like I have a psychiatrist, but she hasn't done any hypnotherapy on me. But I've never had someone actually walk me through it. I've tried the videos. I've actually listened to Brian Weiss's hypno walkthrough. I haven't I don't know. I feel like I'm very much in my head. And I mean, it's something like you and I have discussed before, but I'm very walled up, very blocked off spiritually, because of fears I had as a child. So that wall is tall and it is thick. And so it's kind of hard for me to actually experience those things. But this may have been one of the closest experiences to or connections to the next realm that I've had, because it was so involved in my postpartum with Marshall. I had a lot of fear and I had a lot of anxiety, and my mortality was very very intimidating. And so that's what kind of sparked the research. And I mean, there's certain things that can't be explained that are completely evidence-based, that are well documented. And there's multiple cases of children remembering past lives and saying these things, just like Celeste was saying, about how her child came forward and was asked a question or had made a comment about the past life, and you wonder if it connects back. But there's people that have done the research on what these children are saying and found the person that they were. Actually, my other book that I have, this one, Surviving Death, talks about them. It was a journalist wrote it, and she did the research and she compiled these stories. And there's people in there that went back and found the people that had passed away, and they were real people. And these children had actual memories of what had happened, the family members they had, the friends that they had, their nicknames or pets. It was wild. And usually there was some trauma, some adverse, this one boy named James, and it's a bit more of a well-known story. He, around 2 years old, he started to wake up with night terrors, because he kept dreaming that he was in a plane crash. And I won't go into the long-winded story of it, but essentially they found that he was, he referred to himself as the third James. And this pilot in World War II had been shot down over the ocean. And he was the only person that was a part of this team, on this ship that he had, an aircraft carrier that he had been on, that had passed away. And he ended up being a James Jr. So the boy who's also was named James was James the third. Technically, he's I'm the third James. But they took him to where the previous James had passed away, and the night terrors stopped.
Yeah. I did that on our Thursday show. I talked about that story, and it's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. I have that book.
So it's a great book.
It is a great book. So yeah, if Celeste, do you have a Sheikah?
I actually have Ms. Kenna for a second.
Oh, okay.
Either in your actual lineage or in thought, fantasy, daydream, dream, Spain, namely Madrid, and or Basque. That is one of your past lives. I'm seeing you in a countryside. I'm seeing the sheep. I don't think you were female. but it's absolutely a Spanish type of connection, mountainous, the lots of green. And I don't know if you were part of a farm that would have had sheep, or you were involved in a relationship with one of the herders. It, I would say, was several hundred years ago, is this one that I'm picking up on. But when you turned your head, I could see your hair up in a bun. I could see a comb, not the fancy, like the flamenco dancer, tall combs, but a comb in your hair, kind of a peasanty blouse, a very full skirt, and hills and ranching and sheep.
Well, something interesting about that is, so I'm Costa Rican. My dad was born in Costa Rica, and their lineage is half Native American, you know, like in the same realm as like the Aztecs or the Incas, and half Spaniards, because, you know, conquistadors and all that messy history, but there is direct lineage there.
Yeah, no, I could totally, when you were talking, you were just like, you were, and I don't know, I mean, because you have a nice glow,
complexion,
your skin, dark hair, which could feed into that. But we don't always have all the same physical appearances throughout time, because a lot of Spanish people are actually pretty, what's the word they use to describe, not olive complexion, but where you have like the porcelain coloring. What?
Blanco.
Well, that isn't the word I was looking for, but yes, there's a word that they talk about where your skin is very fair. And so it's not necessarily because you have the glowing, your skin is very glowing, especially tonight.
Well, back in, I don't know. I was like, is it the lighting? Because I noticed it too. But I mean, I am also, I'm a brown person. But I went to Costa Rica for 3 months back in 2017, and the diversity of people, like my aunt, like, you know, she looks like me, but her best friend, like, had, I mean, it was like a light brown hair, pale complexion, freckles everywhere. She's gorgeous. And there were so many people that were just so diverse. Blondes, redheads. I mean, the majority is, you know, brown or dark hair, tan skin, but there's a lot of diversity there as well. So you're spot on.
Yeah, no, it's funny that came through. So.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Susie, you take Ashika's reading, or?
I do. I have it.
Sorry, my internet keeps going out, in and out, so I'm losing your screens, and then you pop back on, and so I don't know.
Nah, you were good. So, your lower back pain. I'm sorry you're going through that. I am getting from the universe that it's going to be in your control. It's how committed you are to the physical therapy. I mean, I can't give you like, oh, it's going to be on this date and on this time. You're always going to have some pain, but you're going to be able to alleviate a lot of it by following their instructions and sticking to their therapies that they give you. And I keep hearing like 6 months, you'll feel quite a bit of an improvement. 6 months. So, but it's your commitment to it.
Okay. I have a question for Ashika.
What?
Was it caused by an injury, or was it a strange, don't know why, but my back is hurting? If you can answer that while Susie does the next.
I wanted to bring up, you know, I've had several back surgeries, and I've had chronic back issues since a major fall when I'm in the Navy, and I started taking liquid turmeric that Costco has in my smoothies every day, and my back pain is like 90% better. All of my joints.
That was kind of what I was wondering, because not necessarily that there's an injury, but that there could be some traumas, not necessarily physical, that need to be worked through, because a lot of times that sits in our hips and our lower back. Or looking into alternative things to add to what you're currently doing. I never ever tell people, unless you feel that that's what you're supposed to do, is to stop some sort, because some people, things don't work for them. But
Right.
add it to it. And the turmeric is a wonderful for inflammation, for pain.
I don't necessarily enjoy the flavor, but I put it in with yogurt and strawberries and stuff. I make a smoothie, and it's not bad. Let's go ahead, because we're kind of getting close on time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
I'll just answer that one really quick. No, don't be worried about those two energies. And whether it's your side or his side, don't worry about it. It could be in, the spiritual realm, but you still have your free agency. It's just literally their concerns, not, it's just what they were thinking. So
yeah, BA, you might want to reach out to Susie for a full reading. Both of these ladies do this, and just to let you know, they both do it, and it's Dwayne, both ladies do it. Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes multiple past lives come through when I work with people, and sometimes it's a big conglomeration of a life that maybe some of the karmic things are still hitting you, or like the trauma things, like where we were talking about being afraid of heights and stuff like that. So, but absolutely.
Hey, Doc, I'm glad that you're here. I didn't know if you were back from vacation or not. We've seen all of your vacay photos. They look fun.
Also, just really quick, I'm picking up for Ashika because she posted again there really fast. Magnesium glycinate. That's also what I'm hearing is good solid doses of magnesium glycinate. You've got to do that.
And I'm actually taking that form of magnesium. I've been taking it now for about a little over 90 days. So that with the turmeric, I combine the two.
Good.
I think the
dandelion root tea is also very helpful.
Yeah, I don't like tea, man. That's the thing with me, is I'm not a tea drinker. If it ain't coffee, it's not going down.
Well, so, you don't need to drink it for enjoyment. Slam it.
Yeah, no.
That's when you were talking about the drips. I'm like, I take a little tiny shot glass, I put it in, I add a little bit of water, and then it's done.
So but I do combine it, and I have to say that my joints, I still have back. I've had 4 back surgeries. I still have back pain, but it's not, and I have to be careful, But I'm doing a lot better than I was, and so I mean, when I was out of the service, the VA had me on. What is going on? So, Doc, lots of energy. Italy, if there's any other questions out there, we have about 6 minutes in the show, so please ask.
Dwayne, you can bring your Kleenex, or I always
send her an email, and you guys can full read.
Where is the haunted doll right now? Because
my internet's going in and out.
I think it could be energy. That's pretty close.
Well, so I have Wi-Fi extenders. I'm in my basement office, and I think maybe my Wi-Fi extender is not working, and I have to get new ones or something. So it's a long stretch for my Wi-Fi signal to get down here. So I may have to get some new extenders. Yeah, because it's being problematic. I'm going to have to be upstairs for tomorrow for sure. Plus, we have a lot of energy. That Schumann resonance, that's been going crazy the last week. And I'm sure from just people's reaction to what happened, the political assassination and everything that was going on. I mean, that affected people worldwide. And the resonance actually seemed to correlate to that. All that output of energy that people had. So I think that energy screws with electronics too.
It does.
And,
We have another eclipse and new moon on the weekend too.
Yep.
yeah, fun. So yeah, no, there's a lot of the energy's just going to go bonkers. I won't be able to sleep. So yeah. And BA, just to let you know, we're not trying to shut you down here. I just think that you have a lot of questions, and I think that you connecting with Susie or Celeste would really help. I know it helped me to get a full reading. I need to do more. I really do. But it actually helped me heal from something I didn't know I was dragging around. I didn't know. I mean, I'm talking for like 59 years. I've been dragging this around, and I didn't know. And yeah, so it really did help. It was an emotional experience, and it hit me hard for a number of months until I worked through it. But I did work through it.
That's one of the things that when I talk about, and I know Susie feels the same way, that would not have been something you would have wanted someone to say out loud in front of the whole universe. And that's why sometimes personal readings are really, really helpful, because I don't feel comfortable talking. Susie was joking with her thing, but I don't feel comfortable in talking about really personal things or deep injury, trauma things in front of the entire world. That it's hard enough to deal with things like that. It's hard enough to say that to somebody, is this something that's happened? But that's one of the biggest reasons that personal appointments, and like the comment about Kleenex, I do have a box of Kleenex because a lot of times things that come up, they come up because they're things you're supposed to hear, but they're not necessarily things you want everyone else to hear.
Exactly.
Well, you guys were talking about how the body holds on to trauma, and it's really interesting because I carry my trauma is here. It's all up here, shoulders to neck. It's always tight and hurts, and if I'm stressed, I'm just I'm balled up. And I went in for I went in for a massage. My therapist is pretty amazing, and it doesn't take much of a touch for me to be in agony. It's such a soft touch for me. I can't work through it. She can't get in there, and she said a lot of people cry in a massage. When she finally releases whatever that tension was, tears come. I don't do that because I hate to cry, sign of weakness.
Too Virgo for that.
Freaking tough, So, but she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm not going to do that. But she's like, it actually helps the body release the toxins. And so as she's massaging whatever in someone's body, if they start to cry, it's because of releasing trauma. You hold trauma somewhere. It just goes somewhere. So, yeah. So if the ladies, and Susie's done this before in the show, and if they're not comfortable saying what comes to them, they'll tell you to reach out to them after the show, because it's not for public consumption. And that's fine, because you don't want things out there. I certainly don't.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, especially if it's a personal subject, I think I surprised you when I brought it up. And I can't even imagine having that kind of
in a public
trauma uncovered on a public platform. It would be terrible.
Yes. So anyway, that's our show for tonight. And we really appreciate each and every one of you that come on here. Every week we get new people popping in to ask questions. So I know that this is reaching a larger audience. It's wonderful. We love it. We love the interaction. You guys not only shoot us questions, you're engaging with us, and that's why we're here. We love it. And we will tomorrow night we have a new kind of platform for our show on Thursday nights. Instead of just focusing on one subject and we all do bites of a subject, it's a free-for-all. Thursday nights are going to be a free-for-all. We can bring whatever we want to the table. I wanted it more like we're sitting around at the dinner table drinking a beer, and wherever we go, we go. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens with that. But
you have an edit button?
Huh? I know.
edit button.
We actually
Beep,
do
beep.
have some buttons on here now. Hold on. Wait. How do I show you?
You might
you
have to
have
beat
this
me
on
a couple times.
Here we go.
There you go.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so we do have some. And yeah, we'll be using those. And then but yeah, I think you guys will enjoy the new format. I think it'll be fun. So that's tomorrow night at 7. And yeah. Cool, guys. Thanks for joining us. And peace to everybody. Stay safe out there. And we love you guys. Bye.
Bye.